and let not one of you supplicate for it before it comes to him. For indeed, when one of you dies, then his action is cut off, and it only increases a believer in goodness. Meaning that a believer's life, when it's increased, it only increases him in goodness. And then the scholars have explained that death, what is death? When we speak of death, what is death? Death is not that you no longer exist. This is not what it means by death. Rather, what is meant by death is that your soul leaves your body, and a separation occurs between the two, and you then are transferred from one abode to another abode. And death is one of the greatest of calamities. So what we understand to be death isn't what the disbelievers and the atheists and other than them believe to be death, which is that you perish, you die, you turn to dust, and you are non-existent. And so death is just mere non-existence. Rather, death is when your soul leaves your body and you are transported from one abode, meaning this abode, this life of this world, to another abode, which is the barzakh, which is the abode in the grave. And so inshallah we only have 10 minutes left, and so perhaps inshallah we can just quickly finish with some of the signs. So we wanted to cover more things, but maybe inshallah we'll just quickly finish with some of the signs of a good end. What are the signs that a believer, when he dies, that he has died upon a good khatimah, a good seal? And so there are many things, and from them Shaykh Al-Albani rahimahullah has mentioned some of the signs that the believer dies upon goodness. And from them, very quickly, is that when he makes the shahada at the point of death. So he makes the shahada, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. The point of death, he makes that. And from Mu'adh bin Jabal radiyallahu anhu, who said that the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, whosever's last speech is la ilaha illallah, then he will enter paradise. Reported by Abu Dawood. And second is when a person dies on the night of Jum'ah. A person who dies on the night of Friday, then, or even the daytime, then a hadith of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam that there is no Muslim, ma min muslimin yamutu yawm al-jum'a aw laylat al-jum'a illa waqahu Allahu fitnat al-qabr. There is no Muslim who dies on the day of Jum'ah or the night of Jum'ah except that Allah protects him from the punishment of the grave. And another sign is being martyred in the context of qital, in a battle. And we see this in the Quran. وَلَا تَحْسَبَنَّ الَّذِينَ قُتِلُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ أَمْوَاتًا بَلْ أَحْيَاءٌ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِمْ يُرْزَقُونَ. Do not consider those who are killed in the path of Allah to be dead, rather they are living, being sustained by their Lord. And there are many ahadith in this regard. And similarly, when a person dies whilst he is on an expedition in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is similar to what has preceded. Likewise, when a person dies on account of the plague, this is martyrdom. And the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam said in a hadith, and this is reported by Anas bin Malik, he said that Yahya bin Ubay, that this companion, he died, and I said that he died on account of the plague. And so the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, At-ta'un shahadatun li kulli Muslim, that the plague, death by the plague, is a martyrdom for every single Muslim. And so then we have another one, which is dying on account of a disease of the stomach, an ailment or a disease of the stomach. And this is a hadith from Bukhari, man mata fil batn fahuwa shaheed, that whoever dies on account of a disease of the stomach, then he is a martyr. And likewise, dying by way of drowning, or by way of, for example, when for example a building gets destroyed and it falls and collapses upon you, this is hadam. This is another way. So the Messenger said in a hadith reported by Bukhari and Muslim that the martyrs are 5. Al-mat'un, meaning the one who dies on account of a plague. al-mabtun, the one who dies on account of an ailment of the stomach, and the one who is drowned, and the one who is, again, the one who he dies being on account of debris and something collapsing over him, and likewise the shaheed in the path of Allah. Likewise, when a woman dies in her post-natal, so after giving birth, and she dies in that state with the postnatal bleeding in that period of time. And there's a hadith in this regard reported by Ahmad and Darimi, and he mentions all of the people that indeed the martyrs from my ummah are by ta'un, again the same thing, the plague and the ailment of the stomach and drowning, and the mother who dies, the woman who dies after giving birth. And then we also have another hadith in which a person who dies from tuberculosis, this hadith called, it's a hadith, in this hadith, it mentions the disease which we know as tuberculosis. So the messenger said, hadith reported by At-Tabarani in Al-Kabir, it is authentic, declared authentic by Shaykh Al-Bani rahimahullah. And again, all the things are mentioned by the shahada, the martyrdom, is by drowning and by being burnt, and likewise on account of an ailment of the disease, and likewise as-sil. As-sil refers to tuberculosis, TB. And likewise, a person when he dies in defense of his wealth, and when someone tries to come and take his wealth and he dies in defense of it, then he dies as a martyr. And the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Man qutila duna malihi fahuwa shaheed." That whoever dies on account of his wealth, meaning someone tried to take his wealth and he defends it, then he is a shaheed, reported by Bukhari. And man urida maluhu bighayri haqqin faqatala faqutila fahuwa shaheed. That whoever his wealth is, when someone intends to take his wealth from him in other than the truth, and he fights and is killed, then he is a shaheed, then he is a martyr. And also from the signs of a good end are those people who die whilst defending the religion and defending themselves. And in this regard, there's a hadith from Abu Dawood, At-Tirmidhi and Nasa'i, and Shaykh Al-Bani rahimahullah declares it to be sahih. And in this hadith there occurs, Man qutila duna malihi fahuwa shaheed, wa man qutila duna dinihi fahuwa shaheed, wa man qutila duna damihi fahuwa shaheed, wa man qutila duna ahlihi fahuwa shaheed.